Hey, Sprocket Talk viewers, it's George B here, and I'm super excited because today we're going to talk about work and cast and WorkCast. And do you know what that is? I don't know, but you know what time it is. Are you a HubSpot user looking for fun and interactive education that helps you be better at HubSpot? Then welcome to Sprocket Talk. That's right, we're back for another interview with a HubSpot Connect partner, and this one you're going to want to pay attention to. At the end, we're going to talk to you about the integration and how that works and all sorts of maybe nerdy things and not nerdy things. You're going to want to stick around. But let's go ahead and get into this. Barney, why don't you take the time first to let the viewers, the listeners know who you are, what you do, and a little bit more about the company.
Hey, George. Just wanted to say thanks for having us today. What a great idea Sprocket Talk is, and I'm just happy that we could be part of it here as WorkCast. So WorkCast is it's a webinar platform for all those HubSpot. Keep it simple. It's a webinar platform, but we got some really cool, unique stuff for HubSpot customers. So we'll get into that in a bit, but that's what we are. That's what we do. It's right in the sweet spot for you B2B marketers. So let's talk about it a little bit, I guess.
Let's dive in. So let's go 50,000 foot view. I know the answer to what is WorkCast. It's a webinar platform, but talk to us at maybe one level deeper than that. WorkCast, why marketers? Because look, later on in the conversation, Barney, we're going to talk about competitors, and so we're kind of precursing that. Like, what makes WorkCast different or better, or something that these Sprocket Talk viewers and listeners are actually going to want to check out?
Yeah, let me give you that 50,000 foot view, George. So when we started this company a few years ago, we kind of went, we were customers, we were webinar users in enterprises, and we went, holy crap, these webinar tools are rubbish, right? So we kind of built this cloud-based webinar, webcast, and virtual event platform, so you can run kind of multiple tiers of types of events on our platform. But we wanted to get rid of all the barriers that exist with those kinds of tools. So those kinds of meeting tools that people were forced to being used, like the WebExes and the GoToMeetings and all of that kind of stuff, and we'll talk about that later. So we built a truly cloud-based platform that utilized video streaming. And we were kind of way ahead of, video streaming becoming mainstream. So we kind of took a bet that said video is going to go big. It's going to go big for B2B marketers. It's the thing that's going to solve a lot of the problems that marketers have on the webinar, webcast front. And we built a platform like that. So, we'll get into detail of that in a little bit in some of these other questions. But, that's kind of what we did. And we built, and we now have this SaaS-based, cloud-based, live streaming webinar, webcast, and virtual event platform that marketers can use, and it's super cool.
I love it, and I love when you put a bet in and the bet wins, because people, if you didn't know yet, video is big. Video is now. It's not even the future.
I think so.
You should be doing it. Here's the thing, Barney. One of the next questions I usually ask is, why would most companies need a tool like WorkCast or the tool that we're talking about? Of course, it's to do webinars, but what I want to kind of reposition this question a little bit. And of course, you can take it where you want it, but really, why are webinars still important? And how do you kind of start to do this for your business and WorkCast?
Yeah, this is great because it kind of drives us down into why HubSpot's really important, right? So, webinars have been around forever, right? Marketers have used webinars for a long time. They're a great part of that content marketing mix, and we still see, people like the Content Marketing Institute, Serious Decisions, talking about webinars being number 2, number 3 in terms of content distribution methodologies behind email and social. We don't need to tell people they need to do webinars. They're cool. The challenge that marketers have is that, they've got kind of, I suppose, four challenges they've always had with webinars. Productivity, they're difficult to do, right? So webinars have always been difficult to do for marketers. They've never been able to represent their brand correctly in that webinar experience. It's always been this kind of clunky, broken brand experience. We're at the behest of technology, so the experience for presenters, the experience for attendees has always been difficult, especially with the rise of mobile, people being able to present and attend on mobile. And then data So we only do webinars because of the data, right? So, we want to get the message out and the content out. Hopefully, it's good content. But then we're really interested in the data and what that means. So where somebody is in the funnel, whether they're top, middle, or bottom. Why are we running that webinar? Is it top of the funnel content, middle of the funnel content, bottom of the funnel content? Is it training content or learning content? So all of those things can be true. But what we needed to solve were those 4 key problems that marketers had, which was productivity, brand, experience, and data. And with HubSpot, I think we fixed them all. That's why people need to do webinars, and that's why I think the world of webinars is getting a whole lot easier for HubSpot customers.
I love that. And Barney, I want to pick your brain for a second, because every time that we have this conversation around webinars, it always comes down to marketing, right? The marketer should do that. I'm curious on your thoughts too, with the rise of video. Does it make sense that sales professionals, service professionals, other folks should be getting on this bandwagon of creating webinar-based content for their own personal brand building or company brand building? What are your thoughts on that?
There's a lot of movement going on right now in this market, right? So we've got Vidyard and Wistia with Soapbox and Vidyard's product allowing sales to do their personalized video intros. We don't see ourselves in that space. Webinars are all about live, so live is key. You get the evergreen nature of content because you can record it and post it and chop it up and do all sorts of other stuff with it. We see it going into multiple departments. I was thinking about this and thinking about our customer base actually, and we see people doing stuff for marketing purposes, thought leadership, continued learning, so CPD credits. We see internal communications being done in using this kind of technology. We also see sales product stuff, and then a big one which we do ourselves, we do our learning channel on it. So all of our academy, you see HubSpot doing it, their academy, right? So that's not sales, it's content. Is it in the marketing funnel? I don't know, but it's there to help customers. So we see people, not just marketing and sales people, using webinar content to generate leads and move them down the funnel. But we see other departments using it for other forms of communications. One thing that's really quite common is that quite often webinars or live broadcasts are always commissioned by marketers. So they may not be the content owners, they may not be the presenters, they may not be the beneficiaries of the data and all that kind of stuff, but they're normally involved in kind of, shaping it or commissioning it in some way.
Sprocket Talk viewers, listeners, you need to rewind that part, because there was multiple ways that you could use webinar content for your company, and there was actually a little bit of a structure of how it should be run and who can be on those webinars as well. That was gold. Barney, I like to move into a section that is really about the user, and there's 2 questions I'm going to ask you. One is based on cost, one is based on competitors, because that's just the way we search when we're looking for a solution to a problem we have. Many marketers are tired of what we said in the beginning of webinars being clunky and all of that good stuff. So when we talk about a cloud-based webinar service, when we talk about WorkCast, talk us through the landscape of what does it cost, where can we start, how far could we go, that type of thing.
The timing is fantastic, right? So we've become a Connect partner. We have built a really quite deep integration, which we'll talk about in a second. We have now introduced a price point for HubSpot customers that I think is going to be very compelling. So, HubSpot are pricing their modules in a certain way. So you think about Sales Pro, something like $50 a month per user. That's where we are. A HubSpot customer can run unlimited webinars on a per user basis for $50 a month. And now that's super cool. So we're trying to, empower HubSpot's core user base, which, and I'm no disservice to the term SMB at all, because SMB is a big old organization when you get up to the medium sized, but they can now run webinars for the same kind of price point as they were buying their meeting technology for, and or buying Sales Pro for. And now that brings it right into the space of a productivity tool that I think HubSpot users can use. We're launching it at Inbound. Come and see us there. We're going to be there, so we can tell you more about it. But it starts at $50 a month for HubSpot customers, basically.
Hopefully everybody heard the word unlimited. And Barney, I'm definitely going to stop by the booth and see you. So if you see Barney and I chatting, you need to swing by and say hello.
Nice, it'd be great to see you.
Yeah, the next part of this is the competitors. So first of all, the price is amazing. Unlimited is ultra amazing. Cloud-based is even cooler. We should just drop the mic and hang up right now, and this could be the end of the interview. Yeah, when we talk about competitors, because here's the thing, we always search the best, not because we necessarily want to buy the best, but we want to know how far away from the best we're actually going to land. And so talk us through, when you think of competitors to WorkCast, who do you think of?
One of the challenges with the webinar market is that they've been sold to by the meeting technology, the collaboration technology vendors for a long time. So there's, LogMeIn, GoTo have been around for a long time. WebEx has been around for a long time. Skype for Business has been around for a long time. And then we've got some new entrants, Zoom, making a big dent in that collaboration market, offering a plugin or an add-on for people who want to run webinars. But it still has the same challenges as all those other tools around branding and plugins and all this kind of stuff. The competitors we see are the competitors who've been in this industry for a long time because they saw the opportunity to extend a meeting into a webinar. And so, that's no surprise. But WorkCast is kind of challenging that thinking. Webinars don't need to be done on those technologies anymore. They can be done on a technology that allows you to, we'll come on to it now, I think, about why what we do, especially for HubSpot customers, makes it so different to any of those other technologies.
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive into that, because the next question is, and Barney, you can feel to be as nerdy or non-nerdy as you want in this part of the conversation. How does WorkCast and HubSpot integrate, and is it one button integration? So how does that work? And then when you get it integrated, what do you actually get? What happens?
Look, I'm a marketer, not a technologist by trade. I'm a technology marketer by trade. So again, I understand technology, but I'm a marketer. We're a webinar company who wanted to run more webinars. We are a HubSpot enterprise customer. We are following an inbound methodology, and we wanted to run more webinars. And I was running webinars on our platform going, this is too hard, so we need to make this easier. So we built the integration because we were the customer, and then we went and talked to a load of other customers, and they went, "Wow, that's amazing!" So what it does, you log into WorkCast, you authenticate to HubSpot like every other Connect platform, and then you create a webinar on WorkCast by giving it a date and time and a title, and it creates all the landing pages and all the workflow that you need for your webinar in your HubSpot account. So you get your registration page, you get your thanks page, you get your reminder emails, you get your live event page. And because we're webinar video based, we embed the live video in a HubSpot page. So your attendees are actually watching in one of the pages you created on HubSpot. Now you just imagine what that does for your brandability, the ability to provide calls to action on your pages associated with your webinar, and the fact that your data never ever leaves HubSpot. You're not taking data out and in again. You get this full picture of a webinar created, built, and presented to your audience in HubSpot. So there hasn't been a single person, including HubSpot staff, that I have shown this to, that they kind of go, what? And to take Chris O'Donnell from last year.
Yeah, Barney, I gotta tell you, mind blown. As a HubSpot user, that's ridiculous. Holy mackerel. So with that said, let me ask you, are there companies, and this is taking a step back out of HubSpot and more around the webinar conversation, are there companies that you have found that are a better fit for webinar style content and or not a fit, and kind of talk us through that landscape? If a viewer or listener is watching this and they've never done webinars, they might well, my that's not for my business. How do they know if it is or isn't? So
we've always had three key tenets, I suppose, that says this is our persona. This is following the inbound methodology. WorkCast have built a persona that says this is a good persona for somebody who's going to be successful with webinars. That doesn't mean to say that if they don't fit this, they can't be, but generally this is true. First of all, they tend to be B2B organizations, not B2C, because webinars are in that domain. Secondly, they tend to have dedicated marketing resource. So you can't run a webinar. You'll know this, George. It's really difficult to run a webinar or be a video expert if you're also having to do social media and paid advertising and content writing and all this kind of stuff. So you kind of need to have some dedicated resource that can focus on webinars. That's two. And the last thing is, every organization has content, by the way, because every organization has created a sales deck. Every organization has created a PowerPoint presentation for their product. So it's not about creating content, and every organization has a subject matter expert that can talk about it as well. So presenters and content shouldn't be the problem. The third area is, can you generate an audience? And so the three things, because if you can't generate an audience, then webinars won't be successful for you. So if you don't have a database that you can invite, or you don't have a channel that you can go and gather your registrants from or your new subscribers from, it's going to be difficult for you to be successful with webinars. The three key things are, kind of B2B, enough resource to be able to focus on doing webinars well, and being able to generate an audience. And hopefully WorkCast takes care of the rest, because we want to remove all the pain of productivity and branding and all the detailed stuff, and then the live experience and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we take care of around the automation element of it, but you take care of the rest.
Barney, that was an amazing answer. And by the way, Sprocket Talk viewers, listeners, if you're not building an audience, that is a crucial piece of being able to do almost anything, whether it's email or webinar. So please focus in on that. Barney, this last question, we always love to give our guests the opportunity to give us a piece of wisdom or strategy. This can be personal, this can be professional, but what do you want to leave the Sprocket Talk viewers and listeners with as far as something that they can move forward with and go, man, I'm glad that I paid attention to this interview?
Everybody who is a B2B organizer should have a go at running one webinar at least, because they'll be surprised at what happens. And I've got one great story which for right back from our early days, which made me laugh. We were running a webinar for a client right in our early days, so you can imagine we were hands-on the technology. We were desperate for it to go well, and they ran this webinar and they got 10 registrations for this webinar. And we were kind of going, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. And then they went and did the live webinar, and there were 3 people on this webinar, right? And we were kind of going, this is a disaster. We then did the review with them afterwards and said, how did that go? And they went, oh, well, that was great. And we went, what? And they said, yeah. Our average product price of our product is $500,000. Those 10 people that we got to register, we've never been able to get a meeting with them before. Of those 3 people that attended live, all 3 of them asked questions, and we will book meetings with them afterwards. If we sell one, we're done for $500,000 for one webinar. And we kind of went, now it makes sense, So webinars can be right for everybody. You just need to get it right in that kind of stack of what you sell, what the purpose is, what your ROI should be. But there's one thing for certain, that not all things are equal, but you should give it a go. And come and see us at booth 24 at Inbound. We're going to be there, happy to show you the solution and chat to you about webinars and everything to do with them, because love it or hate it, that's our lives. So we love talking about webinars.
There you go. And a little pro tip in there: perception, folks, is everything. Barney, if people want to reach out to you online, they got questions for you, questions about WorkCast, where do you want to send them?
Yeah, well, go to the WorkCast website. We follow all the great Inbound things that you should do. We have live chat on there. We have sales reps ready to talk to you. We have account managers ready to talk to you. We've got a booth at Inbound, booth 24. You can contact me directly on barney.brown@workcast.com, or you can follow me at BrownBarney on Twitter. But just be happy to talk to you at Inbound. Happy to talk to you at any point you want. No obligations with WorkCast at all.
Awesome, Barney. Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Cool. It's been great to have you, George. I look forward to meeting you at Inbound.
Sprocket Talk viewers and listeners, that was amazing. First of all, for HubSpot users, $50, unlimited, and it's cloud-based, and the power that was told in that last story. Mind blown. Anyway, do you like these interviews? If so, make sure you head over to sprockettalk.com/FB, where we carry on the conversation in our private Facebook group. While you're there, check out our Facebook page and head over to our YouTube channel where you can hit the bells, the likes, and all those good things so that we know you're part of the community. Are you a marketer, sales, or service professional on the move? Then check out sprockettalk.com/audio or /video for our podcast on iTunes. And make sure if you need training past this interview, tutorial, or update, check the description below. That's what we do. 1- and 2-day workshops as well as weekly training. Make sure you see if webinars is a good fit for your company. Make sure you do great webinars if you do it. And while you're creating the content for that webinar, make sure you're doing some happy HubSpotting.